Memphis, 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 Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the beautiful land in the world.
And I'm thankful for this guy who tweeted and said I don't have that fire in my eyes no more. That game right there was for him. That's what I do. I prove people wrong each and every night, and that's for him right there.
Hi, this is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901.
What is up, Grizz Nation? Welcome to your favorite post-game show, becoming a halftime show. That's right. Tonight, we are not going to be doing a post-game show, but we're getting a little back into the groove of things. Going to have a little bit of a mix-up tonight, though. Daniel is not going to be joining. He is not coaching the Orange Creamers or the Red Rockets tonight. He's on vacation with his wonderful family that hopefully he has not corrupted too much. But tonight, we're going to be coming in. We're going to be talking a little bit of Grizzlies basketball from the first couple of preseason game and I guess game and a half. See how things are going, check in, see what we're feeling. But not going to be doing anything too wild tonight. Just checking in on some stuff, had a little bit of fun. It's going to be a bit of a shorter show because it's just a halftime show, but it's going to be a good time. With that, I'm not going to be doing it alone. I know plenty of you are thankful about that. I do have a co-host coming in tonight, and I'll let you guess by the music who you think it's going to be.
It gets me every time.
Luke with the No Bluffing Podcast here to grace us with his presence once again. It's just you listening to Pony this time. Normally we got you and Chris enduring.
I know.
Just you. How's that feel?
I'm glad I don't have to argue with anybody this time.
For anybody who wasn't in here last time, Chris and Luke, they are on the No Bluffing Podcast. If you don't know about it, you should know about it. Check it out. They're awesome. Ton of fun to listen to. Part of the reason they're a ton of fun to listen to is they are like the nicest guys ever. And so they are constantly just very amicable and very kind. And then if you ever listen to this show, you know, we're pretty much the opposite of that. That's not how we roll. And so I had a little bit of fun last time with Chris and Luke on and made them debate and had a great Grizz preseason debate. So go check that out if you haven't yet. It was a lot of fun, at least for me, to put Luke.
I lost all of them, I think. The only one that I won, I think, was the rigged one with Roddy, I think.
It was a little rigged. It was all right. I appreciated the effort you put forward. But
I tried.
You did your best. But if you don't know Luke from the No Bluffing Show, you probably know him as the resident adventure-making Grizz writer here at Bluff City Media. He's been putting out a ton of awesome content, which I know we're all really thankful for because a lot of us took a break over the summer from any writing and stuff. But Luke never hits stop, man. He's all gas all the time. And so excited to have you on, bud. Thanks for joining us.
Dude, thanks for having me. Thanks for the invite. And by invite, I mean, I asked you if I could do this. So thank you for the invite.
It's perfect. I was looking for somebody anyways, and I had just been too lazy to pick up the phone and ask. So glad you're here, man. But we are a game and a half into the Grizzlies preseason so far. It is starting to feel a little bit like preseason so far in this first half. Yeah. No doubt about that. I mean, you got a lot of guys sitting. But still been fun. Got to see some actual rotations, see some NBA players playing against actual NBA players. So how do you feel so far, just as a general takeaway, general vibe about the Grizzlies preseason so far?
Man, I'm feeling – so I don't want to say I was tentative heading into this season, but I didn't know what to expect. You know, I was trying not to have too many expectations. But through a game and a half, there's a couple things that I wasn't expecting that are super awesome. And then there's other things that I'm just very grateful that are finally happened. You know, things are just starting out, knock on all the wood that I can find. They're starting out good, I would say, I think, through a game and a half.
Give me some examples.
Well, so Zaire, Z is the first guy that jumps to mind for me. Like the fact that he is actually backing up what he was saying with pretty decent play so far. That is awesome because I think you and me and Chris and Daniel, we're all big Z fans, and we've always said if he can just put all the pieces together, the dude's going to be a legitimate threat in this league. And it looks like it might be starting to click. You know, he's kind of filling the box score all over the place. It's not just points. He's blocking shots. He's assisting, you know, like he's just kind of doing it all, which is good for him because I think some people wanted him gone because of last season.
Well, and you can't blame anybody for that, right?
No.
We'll probably talk about Zaire a little bit more as we get towards the end of the show, but it was a rough go last year with Zaire, to say the least, right? I mean, it was barely a go at all. So it was understandable. And I mean, I've been on here a lot saying that my hope is that he would pan out. I was a big believer in Zaire coming in last year, but you saw the confidence melt away. You saw all the promise you saw the year before. You're like, none of that is here anymore. And so you always wanted it to work out, but understandably, a lot of people were skeptic about him possibly working out. So a lot of that makes sense. But
he deserves a little bit of grace because of his age. Like,
yeah, 19, young guy. Right? We forget how young most of these guys are because of how successful they've been the past few years. But you've got a super young team, right? Luckily, you got some more vets this year, and Smart and Rose. You have Adams carrying over. Kennard's a little bit older. Jaron is technically, I think, in year 5. So there's a lot more. It feels like there's more maturity on the team this year, and we'll see if that translates or not. But if you're just joining us, again, this is the Grizz, normally 901 post-game show, but tonight is the Grizz 901 halftime show. We will be taking you through halftime. We will probably go a little bit into the third quarter. It's preseason, so I imagine no one's all that excited to get back to the game. You can watch a little bit of two things at the same time. But we're going to go ahead and jump into a couple of segments here since it is going to be a bit of a shorter show. So the first thing I want to hit on, because I want to end on a happy note. So to start off, we're going to go with it's not necessarily a negative note, but what might be a more negative note of what so far that you've seen in preseason doesn't matter. And so, again, this is more of a negative probably connotation. And typically in preseason, we all want to be just fountains of optimism, unless you're a Rockets or a Hornets fan, in which case you probably don't want to set yourself up for pain. But for you, Luke, give me one or two things so far from the preseason that do not matter.
First thing for me is Luke Kennard coming up cold from 3. I think he's 0 for 5, 0 for 6 through the 2 games. I'm not worried about that. I don't think it matters. I think he's the best 3-point shooter in the league right now. I think the 2 years leading the league in 3-point percentage backs that up. I don't think it matters that he's cold. I mean, 3 shooters get hot and they get cold. It's preseason. Thank God he's cold now, like, thank God.
Yep.
In terms of what else doesn't matter? I don't think it matters that we're not seeing a super huge leap from David Roddy. Like, it seems that I was kind of hoping to see him build off of last season, because he was lights out last season. You're the official president of the David Roddy fan club, I believe, or the treasurer. You're someone, you hold an office in the club. And
self-proclaimed president.
There you go. And I just thought that he would, I wanted him to kind of jump off a little bit more, but it just kind of seems like he's doing okay. It's preseason. I gave him a bunch of excuses in summer league. I think a lot of people were ganging up on him for that. But, I said he'd been playing basketball forever without a break, which was true, but you got to wake up at some point, and maybe it'll happen this half. Maybe it'll happen the next game, but I was just hoping for a little bit more out of him. How about you?
That's fair. And with Roddy, I mean, again, I am heavily biased towards David Roddy and his success and optimism towards him. At the same time, I don't think he's looked bad so far in the preseason. I think he's just looked fine. And at the end of the day, it's preseason. A lot of people look just fine in the preseason, right? You don't really tend to see even the best, sometimes especially the best players, just popping off in preseason action, right? And so I don't expect too much. He looks fine. He looks more engaged to me than he did in summer league, which is all that really matters. But
he's locked
100% in, understand what you're saying. Yeah. He just seems more locked in, ready to get going to an actual season. But I don't think he's necessarily looked bad. He's just looked fine, which a lot of people, like we said, look fine. As far as things that don't matter, I'm going to say the Jake LaRavia dunk to seal the game in the first preseason game. It was awesome. It's fun. Dude, when I'm watching him right now, it just sort of looks like the guy I sort of expected before Summer League. And, in Summer League, he looked good, but I think he looked so much better than everyone else for the Grizzlies that people kind of ignored the inefficiency that he had in the summer league. And I've yet to be super moved. He looked like the best wing in summer league. I said that myself, but I'm not sure it's as much a consequence of him looking awesome as it was everybody else pretty rough, right? Other than maybe Vince Williams. And I'm watching him in these preseason games, and he hadn't been terrible, but I'm just like, I'm unmoved by it. And so the dunk's awesome. Glad the Grizzlies won. I know he was sort of the hero of that game, but it's the hero of a preseason game, and I'm just still not moved by it. So
he's still really slow. Like I thought he would somehow get a little faster, and it's not happened yet.
Yeah, and I don't know. I guess I just don't. When he shoots it, I don't feel like it's how I feel when Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard shoot it, where I'm like, that's dropping, right? Like if you got Luke, Bane, Jaren, Marcus Smart on the floor, whoever, Jake might be the last guy that I want to shoot the ball, right? And if you're going to be Jake LaRavia and be successful in the league, that can't be the case, right? Like if I'd rather have 3 or 4 other guys on the court at a time shooting instead of you. So open threes, to be clear, not contested, create your own jumpers. I don't expect that from Jake LaRavia. That's number one. Number two, and this is not going to make people happy, but if I'm being honest, based off what I've seen so far, it's what I expect.
I know what you're going to say. I feel like I know what you're going to say.
The Junior Lofton looking awesome minutes.
Yep.
If I'm being honest.
I knew it.
And this is not to say the dude doesn't look great. I think he's a bucket. I think he's got a nose for the ball. I see him hunting rebounds. If I'm being honest, if I was going to set some expectations, again, to not have any pain going into the season, he's not playing over Santi or X. It's just not happening. I think he can earn some end of bench, like spark plug, throw a guy in minutes. But if you want him to get like a real role and you're expecting a real role, I don't think it's going to happen. And again, it's not because he can't have a real role. It's based off what I've seen. You trust X. The coaches trust X more. Santi's proven it more so far too. And I think it's going to be hard. So as much as we all want to see Junior ball out, and we all want to see Junior ball out, if I'm being honest so far, he's looked really good. I don't think it's something that really matters when it heads into the season. Again, we all want it to matter.
Great tonight.
He looks great tonight. Let's be clear. It's like Jaren and Dez look great, and those are the two guys who have to be great all the time. So that's it. Even D Rose, who was so awesome last game, did not look great. And as we're talking now, for anyone who's just listening on audio and the podcast later, the Grizz are starting to play again. Third quarter is about to get into action, so me and Luke may go in and out talking about some game stuff, have some reactions for a few minutes, but we're going to keep the show going for the first few minutes of the second half. But again, those are the things that don't matter. The Jake LaRavia one, I don't think anyone's going to be too surprised by. It didn't seem like he was going to be the guy going into the season as far as that wing spot went. The Junior one, I know everybody wants Junior to play and to be a thing, but if I'm being clear, I just don't see it happening. But now we can get into the fun stuff, which is what does matter that we've seen in the preseason so far. So what's happened so far in these games that you think is going to carry over into the season and be a real storyline?
So first of all, the backcourt's going to be fine with the first 25 games. Any sort of, worry or hesitancy that I felt about Derrick Rose, that's gone. And I'm not just going to I think more importantly, I think that Jacob Gilliard's development has been really, really, really important and awesome. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about that. I mean, against the Pacers, he was 3 points, 6 assists, 5 boards, 3 steals. Like that's not bad. I'm not worried whether it's him or whether it's D Rose with their ball in their hand the first 25 games till Ja gets back. I think we're going to be fine. And it matters. What's that face? Are you farting?
I'm going to be honest. If Jacob Gilliard has a ball in his hands in the first 25 games, I'm going to be worried.
Well, no. He won't have. I'm just saying,
okay. To be clear.
No. This is a break in case of emergency type situation. If he's got the ball, we're in trouble. Something terribly has gone wrong if that's what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to be a happy camper. I just want to give my 2 cents on that, but I didn't want to cut you off.
No. Just we're not going to – I think we're going to do better the first 25 games than people were thinking because they don't suck.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I mean, we haven't even seen Marcus Smart yet, but I think we're all pretty confident in Marcus Smart when he gets back. Obviously, he's a very recent former defensive player of the year. He ran point for a Boston Celtics team that has been awesome for years on years now. And so feel good about that. And then Derrick Rose, we talked about it before we got into the preseason. That dude contributed when he was playing for New York. It just so happened they were going to a youth movement, right? Like, he's going to be fine. And then Desmond Bane clearly gets more and more comfortable with the ball in his hands. Luke Kennard on-ball action looks good too. And there's Steve-O, who they've already said they want to use more in facilitating, and he's already been amazing as a facilitator. Yeah. So I'm with you on that. What else?
So you kind of alluded to it earlier, man. Like the fact that Jaren and Dez are playing and behaving the way that superstars are, it's nice, like all the talk of, and people, it just seems there was a lot of hate floating out there, and these dudes are behaving like class acts. They're having fun. They're loving the game, and they're performing well, I think that's awesome, because they could, how they came out of the gate this season matters. How they choose to respond in these first 25 games. It's important. I think it's very, very important. And if the two of them leading the ship, if this is a sign of things to come, I'm not worried, really.
Yep, and I'm with you on that. And real quick, just to bring it back to what we were talking about a minute ago, that doesn't matter. Daniel in the chat, because he can't help himself, even though he's on vacation. What's up with the three-point shooting, Daniel asks. And the answer is it's not real, it's preseason. And that's how it goes, right? You got Malik Beasley, who is raining threes tonight, but that means that when the games matter most, he probably won't. We've seen that act before. But as far as Dez, you've seen him already knock down a three. We just started the third quarter. He's already knocked one down.
He's got Luke
Kennard. He's going to be fine. Jaren is hit 2, maybe 3 tonight. So it's going to be fine. It's preseason basketball. 3-point shooting is not going to be pristine like a lot of other things. But back to
what's been looking really, really good? Free throws.
Okay. I knocked on wood for you. We all know how this is going to go. When the Grizzlies shoot like 73% as a team this season, come back to the Grizz 901 halftime show and blame Luke Hatmaker because it's his fault.
No, don't you put that on me, Nate. You take that back.
You're right. They have looked good. I will believe it when I see it for a full season. If we get halfway into the season and that's happening, then I'll feel really good about it. But
it's preseason.
I'm going to choose to ignore the fact you just said that right now. Anything else before I hit on my 2 or 3 things that are real?
Santi has looked good. That's all I'll say. I don't know if you're going to talk about him, but did you fart?
Did you just see that Z dunk?
No, I turned my TV off because of glare.
All right. For anyone who's listening or watching afterwards, you know exactly the dunk I'm talking about. We're in the third quarter, and Z just rose up about Statue of Liberty. This is awesome. Anyways, Santi looks good. Yeah, he looks really good. That looks like FIBA's transferred over for him.
Yes. It makes me feel foolish for including him in something this summer.
Yeah, I don't know. You tried to trade him away like 7 times.
I didn't try to. It was like 3 times.
Oh, good. We have grace here. All right, so I've got a few things that I think do matter, and number one thing is the Jaren scoring comfort. And so Jaren has shown offensive flashes all throughout, and he's not exactly going up against defensive stalwarts in the Pacers and not against the Bucks. You obviously have Giannis out there, but he looks comfortable with the ball off the dribble and down low.
I saw it.
And that is, I just saw you. I saw you see the dunk. That's awesome. But he looks really comfortable and in control. And he's always had the talent to score. But I think all Grizzlies fans can attest. He's not always looked comfortable trying to score, right? And comfortable with the ball in his hands, trying to do the things we know he can do. And so far in the preseason, they haven't all gone in by any means, but he looks and his own rhythm. He's not getting sped up. I think that's real and matters too, right? I mean, it's real and it's going to be important for them. And you saw them a couple of times in that Pacers game when the well was running a little dry. They cleared out and gave it to Jaren down low for a post up.
Yeah.
I think that's real and that matters. Everyone's saying who you're going to go to when you need a bucket. I think Dez and Jaren are 1A and 1A in that. And I think if Dez is hot, you give him the ball and go. But I think it says a lot that they're giving Jaren the ball and clear outs when they're running a little dry and need something. So,
dude, he's shooting the ball like over 55% through these first 2 games from the field. That's awesome.
Yep. And he's doing a lot of the work at the rim.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what you want to see, right? It's not just hot from 3 or something like that. A lot of work at the rim, and he's mixing it up, taking people off the dribble and just working in the post. So love to see that. The second thing I've got is the wing minutes. And at the top of those wing minutes, we all knew Luke Kennard's going to have a role. That was never a question. You already mentioned it, man. Zaire Williams looks like he's confident. He's had the talent.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he has the talent. The question was, will he be able to get his confidence back? And it was a legitimate question. Like, it's usually like, hey, he just got his confidence back. Once he gets, he's good. After last year, like, will Zaire Williams get his confidence back? Because, again, it was almost a no-go last year. It was so rough. Yeah. He looks confident, man. And the way that the things that really pointed out to me tonight were his 2, maybe 3 now, drop-offs to X down low.
Yeah.
He goes up, he manipulates the defense with the dribble, then he manipulates him with the shot fake, and then uses his length to drop. Dude, using his length to drop it off like that, you love to see it. And I think it matters that he's getting these minutes.
Where was he training this summer? Do you know who he trained with this summer?
He was bouncing around. I know he's with Jaren for a little bit. I want to say he was with Santi before Santi went to FIBA, but I don't know if that's the case or not. But he was putting in work this summer, and you saw some of it, and it looks like it's translating. Again, the confidence is so key. And I think there's a very real chance that we get the best case scenario for Memphis where he has earned, keyword earned, the starting spot on opening night at the 3. And you don't want him to have the starting spot because the Grizzlies want him to succeed. You want him to have earned it. And I think you saw enough from Roddy and some other guys last year that he's going to have to earn it to get it. And it looks like he's doing it so far. So I think that's important and very real.
Yeah, man. Well, and the fact that at that age to regain your confidence in the way that it appears that he's doing, and to do so and to come back with your game, the specificity of your game better, it seems, that's really impressive and really hard to do for someone that young. And if he's able to do it, it's like you said, the fact it'll be a well-earned spot in the starting lineup, you know?
Well, and we might end up seeing that this is how much his knee was affecting him last year.
Yeah.
Like, there's a real chance his knee was affecting his confidence that much. Again, it wasn't just the knee that had him playing poorly. It was a confidence thing. But for anyone who's played through injury before, injuries do affect your confidence, right? It was. Now, was that multiplied times 10? Yes, but I just saw him drain a little mid-range jumper over a Lopez brother. He knows how to use his length, man. That's going to be really big for them. But those are my 2 biggest takeaways that matter. We already talked about Derrick Rose. I think that's something of importance. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it here. We're almost halfway through the 3rd quarter now. But Derrick Rose giving you real minutes is going to be important, matters. I think you're sort of seeing the wings line up. Zaire, Roddy, Kennard's obviously going to get the most time out of any of those guys. It's going to be a mix and match of where he gets it. But Santi, I've liked what I've seen so far. You know, the shooting's slow, but
TJ too, man. It's nice to see TJ, like, for example, not playing Conchar tonight is nice to see. You know, it's nice to see that maybe he's learning from, like, these other wings are stepping up. He doesn't have to play Jitty necessarily. I think we might have seen Conchar's ceiling, and I think that a lot of these guys
Conchar's ceiling.
Yeah, and we haven't scratched it with a lot of these guys.
For all of our fellow Star Wars fans, we have seen full potential Conchar. We have seen full potential Conchar, right?
Yes.
And he never gave in to the dark side, but he Was never gonna have too much power in the light.
No, he's like
I did that just to annoy you, Daniel. I know you're listening. Yeah. I know you hate that.
Daniel, we're going to get worse. He's like Kit Fisto in episode 3 when he goes to arrest the chancellor. He's like cool, but he gets killed like immediately. Yeah.
Oh, it's sad that we both know exactly what we're talking about right there. But listen, as far as whether he's playing or not, I would say temper your expectations, Grizz fans, because Marcus Smart and Steven Adams are also not playing tonight. So it could be a established veteran rest night. Who knows? But yeah, I think probably Taylor Jenkins' hands are a little bit forced at this point. You've got such a logjam at the wings, and you got so much talent there that, Conchar is definitely a stabilizer in a certain way, always where he's supposed to be, always does what he's going to do. But you've got enough stability, you probably can't play him all that much. Unless you're playing against Thanasis Antetokounmpo, in which case I don't want any of my actual players on the court. I put this in the group text earlier, but Thanasis Antetokounmpo, let me put this as a preseason takeaway, bring our banner back up, is 100% the guy that tries to – it's like your teammate that chases you down to block your layup in a pickup game and breaks your wrist. That's Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Like, I almost want to start a Thanasis Antetokounmpo dirty player agenda, but I'm that's probably not worth it.
Giannis will come for you, man.
He might. Listen, the Bucks team slowly becoming unlikable between Campaign and Thanasis and some other stuff. But yeah, I just watched Thanasis tonight, and I'm like, I don't want any of my players on the court with him. It's scary. I want them to be alive. But all right, Luke, we're almost to the end of the third quarter. It's about time for us to wrap it up. But before we do, any other takeaways, anything from the preseason you want to hit on?
You think Vince Williams is hurt?
Great question. I do not know.
Because
has there been anything around his injury?
In Summer League. Well, I don't know. I liked he looked like he was playing really well in Summer League, and I don't think he's played in either of these preseason games.
I actually talked to Daniel about this on the last show. I was looking for him to play some in his preseason because if he did, I thought he had a chance to earn real minutes because of how well he played in the Summer League. He was the most stable wing on that team. Like, he was the most, if he gets an open shot, he's going to knock it down. Stable on defense. I thought there was a real chance we would see him get some run here and possibly earn some minutes for this year. So maybe. I don't know. It could just be they have so many people going that we see him in the next couple of games. But if he does get run, I will be interested to see how it goes. Because he looked good, man. He looked like your 3-and-D role guy. Like to a T fits the role, right? So it's definitely something worth keeping an eye on. Same thing. They got such a log jam. It's going to be an uphill battle for him to earn minutes regardless, but I'd like to see him. I hope he's not hurt.
He played the best defense out of all the wings in Summer League, I thought.
Oh, yeah. He was – Laravia probably played the most top level out of those guys there. But saying that, I thought Vince was just your steady shit. Always steady, consistent, doing what he needs to do, both on offense and on defense. So, yeah, I'm with you. But anyways, all right. Anything else before we get going?
Nah, I think I'm good. Well, Gigi's not played tonight either, has he? Sorry, I'm looking at who's not played.
Established veteran rest night.
Veteran rest.
Yeah, man. Established veteran. He's a Summer League vet. Yeah, Gigi Jackson fans, hold steady. His time will come. It's just going to be a minute probably. So just keep that in mind.
Day will come when the courage of men fails, but it is not this day.
I love the references. Daniel's going to hate that too. It's Lord of the Rings, Daniel. Suck it. Star Wars and Lord of the Rings on the Grizz 901 show. Yeah, stay on vacation, dog. All right, if you are listening via Apple or Spotify on audio, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. On YouTube, please do the same. Anyone who is hanging out with us on Twitter, thank you so much for listening to the show. But we are always involved with the chat here, but we cannot see it unless you're on YouTube. So if you want to get involved with the chat, hang out with other Grizz fans, have a little back and forth, be sure to join us on YouTube and get with us in the comments. And Jake Laravia just tried to poster someone again. He might have broken something. That doesn't look very good.
His arm.
But we're going to get out of here. Luke, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Enjoyed having you as always. And until next time, everyone with us, be nice and tell your friends.